Welcome to All Things Possible TV. I'm excited to have you here with me today. Today's episode is the 3 easy steps to go from a negative emotion to a positive emotion. If you're like me, you don't think it's that easy to go from a negative emotion all the way to a positive emotion quickly. But I want to start with you, and we'll talk about this quickly and help you to see how easy it is to be in control of your emotions no matter what you're going through. All of us go through trials, all of us go through hard things, but we have the power to choose how we're going to feel. Most of us don't think so, and I want to give you a story about myself. I tell way too many stories about me, but that is the way that I can share my experience with you in how it can be different. So in these steps, these first 3 steps, the first one is a choice. You have to make the decision. The decision is the hardest part. I want to share this experience with you. This past weekend, I was going through a negative emotion. I was overwhelmed and in my stuff. And believe me, I know you think I probably don't do that, but there are definitely times. There were a lot of things that were adding up for this. If I wanted to go find all the evidence, which is what I did, found all the evidence as to why I was having this emotion, why I was feeling overwhelmed, why I was feeling that it wasn't working, I became even more overwhelmed, almost shut down to where I didn't know how to move forward. And it came down to this. I had to make the decision that, number one, I didn't want to feel that way. How many times do we wallow in it when we're there? We're like, oh, I'm so angry, I'm so angry, I'm so overwhelmed, I'm so frustrated, right? We sit and tell ourselves, and our subconscious mind wants to be right. We tell ourselves over and over and over what we want. And it's not what we really want. It's what we're feeling, and by expressing it as I am, it becomes even more heavy and worse. So first we have to make a decision that we want to change that behavior. We don't want to feel that. Now, for a lot of you, you're going, okay, easier said than done. What if it's not something that you caused? Same thing. You have to decide that you don't want to feel that way. By them causing something and creating you to feel that way, that is still you in control of how you feel. My explanation for that, I am in the middle of raising children, and my children are all older. My youngest is almost 20, and we're in the middle of some pretty hard decisions. I believe in being unconditionally loving and in exploring in the best interest of the children what their best options are. And she wants to travel abroad. She wants to go do all these things. She, of course, wants to do them alone. Is that something that a mother will feel good about? No. So she's making decisions that for me are very difficult. And even though I believe and I know that she gets to choose her own choices and she gets to be her own person, those are causing some feelings inside of me that aren't necessarily happy and joyful. There's other feelings in there too of how much I love her, but it is causing some concern, some fear, and it's not how I would do it. So yes, it's causing some different feelings for me right now, but I have to choose how I want to feel about it. So the first step to this 3 easy steps is the decision. Make the decision that you want it to be different. You don't want to feel those feelings and that there is another possibility. The second step is to actually forgive the process. Forgive that person. For me, I had to forgive the situation with my daughter. I have to just be like, there's nothing else I can do. If I want to feel bad about it, if I want to be upset about it and fret and stew and worry, I can, but is that serving me? No. And is it in my control? She's still going to do what she's going to do. I love my daughter with all my heart. I would never go out of the country alone without a plan, ever, because that's my personality. But that's not her personality. And I just get to trust that she's going to take the precautions to be safe and that she's going to do some of the things that I've taught her over her lifetime to be safe and have a good time and to not have all of us worry the whole time she's gone. But I also have to forgive the situation and be like, she's just doing the best she can. She's trying to find herself. She's doing what she feels good about and what's making her happy. And I get to allow that, whether or not it's what I want. Now, if she were 11, that would be different. She's almost 20. She gets to make her choices. She gets to find herself and make her path. Whether or not it's my choices or the things I believe, that isn't what's up for discussion right now. What's up for discussion is, am I worried? Am I going to let that worry overtake me? And let's step back even one step further in the overwhelm. Now, in the last 5 weeks, have been out of town 3 weeks. When you're self-employed, that makes a big difference. I have all these things from one end of the spectrum to the other of family, the house, the yard, and the business. And the business is huge. I have episodes to film. I have clients on a program. I have other clients coming to me. I have a live event coming up. There's a lot going on. And so overwhelm can be very easy to fall into that frustration and that be tired. Just tired when we don't have enough sleep. We're tired and it's easier for those negative emotions to come in. But what I want you to tell me, what I want to tell you is that it's just as easy to go to step 3 and make it different. Now let me explain that. We're first going to decide, right? The decision is number 1. Forgiveness is number 2. Forgive the situation. For me, I had to forgive that I've been out of town. Give myself a break and be like, it's okay if there's going to be a whole bunch of people for a party at my house and the office is not in the best condition. Let it go. It's not going to help to get all upset about it. It didn't help at all, actually. The party still came. We had a great time. And my office wasn't as clean as it usually is. There were some things piled up. I'd been gone. That happens. So when we can forgive the situation and let it go, it's better. When I was in the hospital with my son when he had cancer, this was many years ago, I was in the hospital 180 nights in 11 months. Guess what happened to the house? There were plenty of times when a 5-year-old or a 7-year-old had washed the windows with Pledge and helping mom, or they had vacuumed just a few spots in the floor. And I got to just be happy that it got done at all. And that's a process that we get to. But what I can tell you is when you hold on to that negative emotion, it just becomes bigger and it just starts to affect your whole life, your whole day. So step 3 is to choose the emotion that you want to feel. If you want to feel empowerment, then you get to say it to yourself over and over until you feel it. I am empowerment. I am empowerment. And it is an I am statement. Say it over and over until you own it. And pretty soon, your energy and your level is in a completely different space. Much higher than it was when you were in overwhelm, trying to hold it all up, right? Now I'm empowered. I'm ready to go. I'm no longer holding it up. So on this particular day, this last week when I was struggling, yes, I wanted to choose a different emotion. Yes, I wanted to live what I teach. Yes, I wanted something different, but I was feeling this weight of everything and having really concern on how I could make that really work. Was I really going to believe it? Was it really going to change? And so when I was picking a word, it became really hard. And I was like, I don't know what word to pick. I don't know. I'm just not seeing the end of this. I'm not seeing when I can catch up. You know, I've got this coming and I've got several speaking things coming, several different events, and a lot going on. My VA was leaving town. There was a lot going on, and I was just like, I just have so much. And I finally said, the only word I can come up with today is productive. I am productive. Like, I have productivity going and it's gonna be fine. What I can tell you is I had the most productive day I've had in a long time. I got so much done because I sat there and said, I am productive, I am productive, I am productive. I no longer was in overwhelm, feeling sorry for myself, having a pity party. I was now productive. And I was about choice. I became completely aware of what I was choosing, forgave, let it go, chose to do something else, and chose a word. My word that day was productive. Now, that's not the most positive word that you might want, but it worked for me because I needed to get a lot done. Find what word you need. If you've got a sick child and you just need to have energy, say, I am energy, I am energy, I am strong, I can handle this, right? Rather than, oh my gosh, this is so hard, and they're so sick, and I haven't been to sleep, right? Because if you sit and tell yourself you're tired, you will fall asleep, you will be tired, because you will feel what you say you are doing. And when you do that, it just builds bigger and bigger. So one of the things that I do that's a tool at my house that I was actually introduced to this by Kirk Duncan, who was a mentor of mine. And one of the things that we got to do is make an I am poster. Now this is my little girl, and this hangs on my wall. And the whole thing, as you can see, is covered in words. So when I need a word and I'm not sure what that's going to be that day, it's very easy for me to go, I go right to my who am I and pick a word. Whether it's amazing or teachable or inspiring or energetic, creator, victorious, accomplished, I can find a word easily. And these words are all these words that I came up with myself about my who am I. I start my day with this. I look at my who am I also look at my vision board. And I choose some words that I want someone to tell me, you are so this. Once I hear those words, I feel like I've really become that, and I can choose a new word. One of the words that I had chosen not too long ago was confident. Most of you might think I'm very confident. Well, there's definitely times I'm not. And that self-confidence has been something that I have gotten to work on. And so I had to have 3 people tell me that they felt like I had good confidence or I was very confident. And then I chose another word. I always have 3 or 4 words that I'm trying to become or I'm owning to help me move forward. That is something that's very easy when you have something that is challenging going on, when life isn't perfect. I don't know about you, but life is not always perfect around here. And I'm not perfect. So there's definitely times that challenges come up, that frustration sets in, whether it's your car breaks down or the bills come and it's not working, a client cancels, whatever that is, it can be challenging, it can be difficult, and it can create emotions that unless you take control of your life and your emotions, they will rule. Now, I don't know about you, but I have been ruled by my emotions. For a long time, I lived in depression. And depression was one of those things that I most of the time took good control of. But when it won the battle, I spent a long time before I actually came out of that. And when I did come out of it, it wasn't medication, it wasn't a psychiatrist, it wasn't someone else that really did it for me. It was me having to pull up those big girl panties and do something different. Now that sounds pretty harsh. I have a father that he gets depression and he has to have shock therapy to get out of it. I'm not saying that every depression, just pull up your panties and be big. I'm not saying that. But for me, most of the depression that I have felt ever in my life, which I've had a lot, I've had grief, I've had death, I've had difficult challenges, sick kids, lots of medical bills, lots of financial stress. I've also been an entrepreneur and a business owner the whole 30 years. There's been a lot of pressure, a lot of things going on for us. But what I know is that it's up to you how you feel. It's up to you to choose. Sometimes we need somebody that's given us that nudge. That nudge came from my husband this weekend. And he was like, pick your word. Like, just pick a word and be it. It was amazing because over the weekend I also went to a National Speakers Association event that I was in and going through graduation and stuff. And it was funny because one of the main speakers, a well-known speaker, got up and he was like, get up in the morning and pick a word for the day. And it was very interesting because he wanted us to spend our 10 minutes and do our morning ritual. And one of those things was that positive word we wanted to create that day, whether it's service or gratitude or, being the best we can be, being empowerment, being strong. For me, productive. Friday was productive. It got to be productive. I had to be productive. And I did it. I went from overwhelmed, and I don't know how I'm ever going to do this, to extremely productive, and accomplished what I needed to do that day, to enjoy the rest of the weekend, to be able to have those things that we want. That's what this is all about. Discovering that life can be different if we choose to have it that way, but it all comes down to a choice. When you are faced with your hardest challenges, you have to make the decision to either let the challenge win or for you to win over the challenge. All of us are going to face trials. All of us are going to have things that are really difficult. Maybe you've lost your house. Maybe you've lost a loved one. Maybe your business is going under. Maybe your boss is laying you off or firing you. All of us have hard things, but all of us are at choice. Making that decision, number one, that's the number one thing. Make a decision, make a choice. You get to choose how you want to feel. So make the decision. Choose what you want to do. Number two is, like we said before, forgive the situation. Let it go. Holding on to it is not helping. It's not moving you forward. It's holding you back. It's weighing you down. When we let it go, we are lighter. We feel better. We have more energy. And number three, you choose how you want to feel. If you want to choose happiness, say, I am happy. I am happy. Walk around and say, I am happy a few times and see what happens. You will raise your energy. You will raise your awareness. You will become happier, more energetic. You will feel it. How many times have you ever gone through an experience and someone's just like, oh, I'm so upset, and this is so awful, and this is so tragic? It gets heavier and heavier and heavier. What if they were to say, this is so unfortunate, and it's a really bad situation, but I see how this is going to bless our lives. I see what we're learning. I am stronger because of this. Does that feel as heavy? No, never. It's always better. Most of the time, we fall back into that negativity because it's easy. But what I can tell you is really it's harder. It's heavier. It's emotionally draining. People don't want to be around you. You lose friends. It's up to you what you choose. But I am going to tell you to choose happiness. Choose to be positive. Choose to move forward, not be held back. We always want to be moving forward. We always want our life to improve. I'll bet for each of you, you want your child's life to be better than your own. I did. I had a great childhood. I loved my parents. It was wonderful. But I wanted to do a little better. I wanted my kids to have a little more. And I want the same. I want them to raise the bar one more level. But that has to start with us. We have to decide what we want in our life. So make yourself a poster if you want. Mine's a little girl because my husband has a little boy. Find some words. It will help you. It will serve you to have those positive words to refer to quickly and easily. And when you can't come up with one, like I have a whole thing here with all kinds of positive words. But at that moment, I was still stuck. I just chose I am productive because I felt that being productive would be much healthier, happier, and better than being negative and held back and weighed down and not accomplishing what needed to happen. So I want you to know that even though I make it sound simple with 3 easy steps, it is that easy. I love teaching you principles. I love doing these videos. There's a lot of times that I'm like, oh, get me off the camera. But what I want you to know is that I'm glad you're here with me. I'm glad to be able to share things with you to improve your life. I also want to offer to you a free strategy session with me. I would love for you to contact me. You may go to my website at www.allthingspossible.biz. Again, that's www.allthingspossible.biz. And go to that, contact me. Send me an email. Send me just your information that you would love to have a free strategy session with me. Let's talk about where you are, how you can improve, and how you could move forward. I do a lot of different programs and I work with a lot of people, and I would love to work with you. I would love for you to go to my website and get the free 3 hours of training, as well as have an opportunity to talk with me and get a strategy session. It's great to be with you today, and remember the 3 steps. 3 easy steps to change a negative emotion into a positive one. They are, number 1, decide. You have to decide and choose that you want it to be different. You don't want to feel that. Number 2, forgive the situation. Forgive and let it go. It's not going to help you to put it on that hook with you and drag it around. Let it go. And number 3, choose your new word. Choose the feeling, the emotion. What word do you want? What do you want to feel? Do you want to feel accomplished? Do you want to feel positive? Do you want to feel happy? Do you want to feel energy? And use that. It was great to have you here with me today. Thank you for joining me, and we'll see you next time on All Things Possible TV. Thank you. Bye-bye.